Hi, I'm Di with Sister Chicks Quilting, and welcome to my studio today. Hi, I'm Di with Sister Chicks Quilting. Welcome to my channel. Hi, welcome to my channel today. Hi, I'm Di with Sister Chicks Quilting, and welcome to my channel. Hi, I'm Di with Sister Chicks Quilting, and welcome to my channel. Hi, today I want to celebrate the red, white, and blue because this is the 250th year of our country's birth. I want you to sit back and relax and enjoy this compilation of videos. And happy birthday, America! I am going to make one of these out of this because it's coming upon the 4th of July, Flag Day, all of the patriotic holidays. Let's get started. My number one video is my fat quarter baskets. I make mine just a little bit different. They stand up, they have foam. You can either use Annie's Soft and Stable or Bosal. I love making them. And I'm gonna make it out of this. Check this out. Isn't that cute? This will be the decorative strip going around it. And the lining is going to be this very cute firework material. But there's going to be a twist. I'm going to put something inside my basket. Never made it before. It's up here, but I'll give you really good directions if it works out. The first thing you have to do is go to my website, sisterchicksquilting.com. Look in the store for the fabric storage basket measurement sewing instructions and print it out. There's everything you need right there. So I'm going to turn this around so I can see it because truthfully it's been a while since I've made one of these, and I'm going to start cutting. This is SF, Pellin SF 101, and I'm going to have 2 of these guys. This goes on the inside of the decorative band. And this is how you make it look nice, is with this shape flex. To cut this, I'm going to do this to line it up. I'm going to put, it's on the fold, as you can see right here. And I'm using the line from the ruler right along that fold. And then I'm going to slide it up so I can cut it. I don't know if you can see very well, but it's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. And I want a good square cut. So that's what I'm going to do, is use it that way. And then I need to cut this into a 3-inch strip. And I'm not going to use my mat for measurement. I'm going to use my ruler. I'm trying to preserve all of my mats because eventually we will cut our mats to pieces. This is my strip. Let me mark that off. So the pattern calls for cotton batting, but you know what? I know the lady that wrote the pattern, and she gave me permission to change it. I figure it's my pattern. I can do what I want with it. The batting that I am using is polyester, soft and bright. It's pretty strong stuff, pretty stable stuff. And that's what you want when you're making something like this. You want stability. You don't want something that drapes. You want something that doesn't drape. Now I am using Annie's Soft and Stable. This is not iron on. And I'm gonna have to cut a piece off. These are the Kai Dressmaker Pro scissors. These are, I'm telling you, I have really bad arthritis in my hands, and these are so good for little old lady arthritic hands, you guys. Okay, I am going to cut this foam. Well, I think I can cut 2 at once. In the pattern, I tell you that you should iron it on and have it stick and stuff. Well, this way you're not going to do it. So but I think it'll work out good. So the cool stuff is I have all of my pattern pieces cut, and we are ready to construct. The first thing you want to do in the construction is give yourself corners. Now obviously there's no corners on batting, so I'm just going to make sure the corners are on the same side, and I'm taking out a 3-inch corner. Use whatever ruler you want to, and then I'm going to go in and finish it with my Kai scissor, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay. Boom. I'm not going to save those little pieces of batting. And then I'm going to do the same thing. And you could do this all together if you wanted to. You could do it this way. You could trace it and then cut it with a pair of scissors. Or you can just cut it like this. And I'm going to cut it just like this. And I'm going to use clips here. That will be easier than pins. It has the batting, the foam, and then the fabric. And the fabric is on the wrong side because we're making a sandwich where this has to be on the outside. So this is the first seam we sew, is this seam here. So these are the sides that we're going to put together. And you know what's nice? White and red. So the design is going to stay. All right. I'm going to raise my needle, pick up my presser foot, and I'm going to put this in about 1/2 inch. Got it? I'm going to lengthen my stitch length to about 3, a number 3 on my machine. And I want to back tack it. Keeping this at 1/2 inch. These are probably the bulkiest things you'll have. See that? We're done. Next thing to do is to make the strip, and we do that all at the iron. The next thing you want to do is prepare your decorative strip. And this is where you remember you cut at the width of the fabric, 3 inches. I take my 2 inches of the Pellon SF101, and then I just want to give it a quick press down. Lay the second one right on it. Now this is the real technical part. You just pull it over to the edge of the interfacing and press it down. It pulls over real nicely. Then I'm going to flip it over, give it a nice press. One other thing I want to bring up is this side seam that we just sewed. It's between these two pieces. I'm going to steam it down. It lays a lot flatter and it's a lot nicer. This is where you need a good ruler. I measure down 2 inches from the top like this. Oh no. You know what I just noticed? This is not good. I thought I had my 3-inch ruler here, but I have my 3.5-inch ruler here, and I cut these bottoms out too big. And I noticed it when I put this tape on and thought, oh, I usually have more bottom than that. So this is an issue because it's going to make my, well, so my bottom will be wider. Big deal. What I can do is I can cut this strip down, make it a little bit more narrow, so it's like this instead of a full 2 inches. And you know what? I think I'm gonna do that. Good thing I have a good strong steam iron. Okay, I've done it. Hopefully I'm hiding my mistake. So this is 1.5 inches wide instead of 2 inches. And I'm trying to decide if I put it down 2 inches, I will still have, I think I'm going to continue and sew it down on the 2-inch line. All right. I am just going to use this heat erasing pen because I'll iron all of this purple ink right out. I'm only marking 1 line, and I'll tell you why. I take this and I lay it right next to that line. And then I sew it right next to here on my sewing machine. Come back and I sew it down this side. I think it's gonna go really swell. Let me adjust the camera so you can see how I do. Okay, so when I go to sew this on, I don't sew next to the purple line. I sew just barely on top of it. And then I'm going to adjust my stitch length on my sewing machine to about a 3.5. It's going to give it a more professional look. When you top stitch on a project like this, you want a bigger stitch. And we're gonna go back and do the other side. I'm really irritated at myself that I made these so big. Not cool. That 1/2 inch is really gonna make a difference. So this is the next step, is to sew it like this and sew this side seam right here. And when you do, the only thing you have to match is your strip, your decorative strip. And you know, this would look so cute if it were scrappy. You can just do about anything and give it your own personality. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some trimming here. This batting is quite bulky. As you sew on the foam, it's going to, you can turn it out. Oh, shoot, what I was afraid of. I missed that seam. I'm gonna have to take it deeper. This is actually more square than it is oblong because of those seams. It's like a big square bag. Of course, it hasn't been ironed. All I need to do is corner the lining pieces, and then I like to put the lining on the outside. Let me show you. So I'm going to corner them like this. Then I squeeze the box up like this and put it inside, poking the corners down in the corners. And I want a really tight fit. I'm going to work it, making sure everything is pulled to the top, and then I'm going to start clipping it in. I think it's time we sew it up. I really don't have a free arm on this machine, but if you do, that's when you want to use your free arm. I'm going to start right about here, keeping it upside down, and sew up my good old 1/2 inch. Yahoo! This part is where you really want to pay attention, and that's to your pressing, because this is going to make or break the box. This turns it from just I don't know, This raises it one level in my opinion. So can you see how I'm actually pushing down and rolling the edges, and then I'm on the inside pulling the inside down, and I'm going to turn it over. I'll do that so you can see it. Roll it like that. And you can't see anything. I'm actually pressing inside. See this corner right here? I'm going to fold it back, roll this corner out, and I'm going to press it. And if you have an iron with steam, use it. Then I want to fold these corners. So it's ugly and shapeless, right? So I'm going to fold this corner. And this corner. And guess what? There's 4 corners. So I'm going to fold this last corner, or this third corner, and this corner. Look at that. Now it's setting like a box. But there's still going to be more pressing. The next thing we have to do is sew down at 1/4 of an inch all the way around this top seam. Look at how cute that is. Oh my goodness. I have pressed it a couple of times. The secret press comes along this bottom edge, and it just sits so square. This is what I've come up with. And you're probably wondering what it is. You can see that it's foamy. It's got some weight to it. It would stand up on its own if the sides were supported. And then it has a slit in it right here. Well, it fits inside the basket like that. And I'm going to make another piece to cross over it and come up and attach through this. That is going to give me some compartments in my basket. And what I'm going to do is, this is for a buffet table. I'm going to put napkins here. I'm going to put utensils here. I have 2 pieces of the foam, the soft and stable. And yes, this one is cut in 2 places, but it's going to be sewn on the ends. So I'm going to hold it in like that. And then there's also going to be a slit here holding it down. I'm going to wrap it as tight as I can and trim it. Fold this over like so, and it folds in like that. This one will fold in like so. I'm using clips to hold it in place, but I'm wanting to start sewing just outside these clips because I want to turn this in. I don't know that I want this much to fold in. I'm going to cut these down, tuck these ends down inside, apply a clip, and sew them along the edge. Sew on this piece. So just kind of tuck it in and sew it on the line. That seems pretty good. Now what I've been waiting for. I'm excited about this. You know how to do this. Line it up in the middle. I think the best way I'll do it is by marking it. I'm going to make a line across the top to be able to see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is sew down both sides of this line, down the middle. It's getting kind of exciting. Ready for my reveal here? Oh, I need to make it a little longer. There you have it. Here is my buffet basket for the 4th of July. And we're going to stick that in. And we're going to put plastic forks and knives, or plastic forks and spoons here. Maybe this isn't a great idea, but I thought it was fun. Isn't this the cutest? What a fun hostess gift. I am so excited. Let me show you how versatile it is. So if I don't want to leave this basket on the table, I can just take the flowers out and I have a basket. I thought it would be cute on the buffet table, maybe put the napkins or something in it, or the spoons and the forks. And look what I made for it. It's a little rough, but I have this divider that I also made. Look at that. Isn't that fun? My fabric fat quarter baskets are turning out to be so versatile. In fact, they're as versatile as the fabric that you want to put in them. Guys, this is my pattern. Yeah, I know it's gross, but I'm gonna keep it there so I can follow it. I have the block out on design boards, and I'm going to start with the half square triangles that I need to make first. The little star that goes inside. Look at the little bird in the middle. Isn't that just the cutest? I just love it. And this is my block. A little big for the camera, but let's get her sewn up. I'm going to start with the birdie, the center star. Then I can sew the stripes together and we'll have the center block done. I'm sure you guys know how to do basic star construction, right? Let me show you something first before I start to sew. I always press the seams on my points, open or over, so I can see this right here because that's where the point is. So if you sew down here, you're going to cut your point off, or up here you won't have enough of it. So I'm always careful to get my points done so they're actually points. Okay, am I belaboring the point? How does that look? Pretty good. And then I'm going to sew these pieces on, and my center star will be done. And I'm not going to iron them, but I'll roll them. I'll roll them open. Get a little heavier on the roller. Let's get these matched. So this is where I spend a little bit of extra time. Sticking a pin through the seam, and I want to come in the seam on the other side. When I sew this, I'm not going to sew it on this side. I'm going to sew it on this side. Why? Because there's my point. I'm seeing it for the first time with you, so that's pretty brave. There you go. There's my point. Looking pretty good. I'm going to get it sewn together. Cute. So, you guys know what time it is, right? Well, let me tell you, past my bedtime. You know, I just muscled through this one. I really love how it turned out. And I got a tip from a viewer last time I made a pillow. And she said she folds it inside out like this to get the pillow in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Mr. Pinwheel pillow out. He's the pillow that I made the envelope 9 inches. Not a good plan. It needs to be, I think 7 inches is perfect. And that's what I did on this one. Okay. Yay! All right. I'm going to put this pillow on, and next week I'm excited because I am going to be making a patriotic quilt. I'm kind of putting the pattern together myself, and I'm probably going to start it this Saturday. And you know what? That trick really helped. I don't remember who it was, but let's fold this over. It's going to stay on here through July. I'm pretty excited. Anyway, let me give you a close-up so you can see the cute quilting. I think it turned out really fun. I'm glad I remade it, and I'm really going to enjoy this pillow all through the rest of June and July. And I won't be making another pillow until August. I have a question for you. What's better than a 3-yard quilt with a free pattern? I know, a 3-yard quilt with a free pattern, and you make it with another YouTube buddy. April and we decided on Saturday late afternoon that we were going to make 3-yard quilts with stars for Memorial Day. Now, for those of you who are international, Memorial Day is like VE Day in Europe. And it's where we honor soldiers that have fallen and fought for our country's freedom. It's a very patriotic holiday. Plus, I feel like Memorial Day is the kickoff holiday for Flag Day, for the 4th of July, rounding up with Veterans Day. And I love my country as much as you love your country. And I wanted to make a quilt for my sofa. What's more perfect than a 3-yard quilt with a free pattern called Splendor? I have a copy of it on the engineer's phone. This is what she shows, so can she, on her website. I love her blog. Now, I have had my eye on this quilt for a long time. And when April said, you got to come up with a small quilt with stars, I knew right where to go. There's a way that you can click on the top of the blog and download PDFs. So I didn't do it. I just brought my laptop and it's sitting right here. And I just follow along on the laptop and scroll through all the commercials and I get what I want, right? Today, before I get started, I want to thank a couple of people who've been commenting on my channel. Karen with an I. Hi. I just call her Karen with an I because I think it's cute. Karen with an I, and you know who you are, Karen. She said that she got a smile from the roadblocks I ran into on my last video with the wonky 4-patch. It made her smile because she runs into roadblocks all the time when she's quilting, and she realizes she's not alone out there. Thanks for commenting, Karen. Your comment made me smile. So look, we're all just smiley. And you're right, that quilt is made with a lot of love. Mary Bond, I'm excited as you are that fat quarter bundle you have been saving is going to be perfect for the wonky 4-patch quilt that I just made. It's such an easy quilt, no pattern necessary. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. Let's get started on this quilt. Can you see how cute it is? It's 2 blocks, and that's all it is 2 blocks. And they're actually quite simple once you get used to making them. This is block number 1. It has, and this is the star right here. It starts with this piece in the center, and then it has hourglass shapes around it, 4 hourglass shapes, and it finishes off with a 4-patch. And the second block has a red square in the middle of it. Now, this block may look complicated, but when I tell you what it is, you're going to figure it out. It's a square in a square. And you put it on like so. And then you finish it off again with 4 patches. So, this was all made with 3 yards of fabric, including the border. And you can do a scrappy binding. But I am going to cheat. I am going to bind mine in red. I have quite a bit of the red, so I am going to probably go off a little bit to bind mine. All of the fabric that I'm using for this is from the line called Red, White, and Bang by Sandy Gervais. And this is going to be, look at that, those old-fashioned bathing suits on the line. Isn't that adorable? This is going to be on the back. And I'm going to have it done by this weekend so it can sit on my couch for all those flag holidays and the summer. I am not going to go through how to cut out your fabric. However, on the So Can She blog, under the directions, she has cutting guides that look like this. Can you see that? And this is just one of them on the focus fabric. Don't you love how easy it is to cut everything out? Her instructions are step by step, super easy. I love it. And when I get everything cut out, I keep it stacked in my 3 piles of 3 colors. And there's not that many squares and pieces that you have to keep them separate. But if you wanted to pin them using the alphabet pins I taught in another video, go ahead and do that. Now, I've used my pieces to make these units for each of the blocks. And like I showed you earlier, this is the unit for the star block. There are 4 of these hourglass blocks. There are 4 of the 4-patch square blocks, and there is 1 of the center block. So simple. Let's sew it up. The first thing I'm going to do is lay out my units on my design board. That way I can keep them straight. And as you can see, check it out. It's just, here, let's move this one. It's a 9-patch. So I'm going to set this aside over here. There's my computer back there. And I am just going to sew these up. And at first, you don't need to really match any seams on this first row. This is the back of the block, and what I want you to see is that these center seams on the center block are pressed in. They're going this way, and on the lower and the upper block, they're pressed outward. That way I can easily nest them. Look at that. I'm not real happy with this intersection here. I'm going to have to fix that. This intersection is probably okay. All right, here is the problem with that one horrible intersection. See this? There's not enough room to get a 1/4 inch out of that. So on the back side, I did take a good 1/4 inch seam. That tells me the problem is here. I'm going to unpick this piece and make this triangle a little bit deeper so I have some more fabric to work with. I can't believe this is happening on the last block when I'm making the video. Everything else turned out so good on this quilt. Upon further investigation, this is a terrible corner here. Look how it's sewn. Can you see that? How it's not going to a point here? There's a point here and a point here, and I sewed in between the 2 points. What was I thinking? So that puts my ending stitch up here, leaving nothing for a 1/4 inch seam. Not a good scene. Let me see if I can fix this. All right, I figured it out. Looks like I had a defective unit, folks. Thank you for sticking with me while I repaired it. I just could not live with that. Look at that. See what I have? I have a 1/4 inch, and my block is going to look good now. At least my points will look good. Where I'm placing the pin is right at the intersection of the point, and I'm sticking it straight through like I do, because if I'm making a star block, I want it to be beautiful. Much better. That is a much better point right there. And that is a much better. See, it's not so bad to stop and fix something. And check out that block. It's looking good. Let me lay out the other block for you. Now this one, when we pick up these 2 pieces, is a tad fussy. So you want to get that seam, can you see that? Right, this seam on this side, where it's blue and white, you want that seam to hit right on the diamond point of the red square. So I match that up, then I don't worry about the rest of the block. Let's see now. And how I do that is by folding this piece back. And look at that. That's pretty darn close in the middle with that line. Now, this side is easy because those 2 right sides go together. There's nothing to match. However, you don't want to cut the tip of the square off that's on point. So I'm going to put a pin in it and sew that side up. We do that 4 times when we sew this block. 4 times I want to make sure that this line is right in the middle of that little triangle or little square at the top, and it is, and it looks pretty darn straight on there. And by the way, all of these units have been squared up. When you put these blocks together, definitely use pins. Now right here are the 2 seams that nest in the center, And it's nice because there's no points you have to match there on this block. But on this one you think, oh, there's no points either. But you stick a pin through this seam and it comes over here. Can you see that right in the middle of that half square triangle? So there really kind of are points, sort of, to nest. And this one you want to do the same too. You want to stick a pin right through there. And look what happened. It came off. See that? It's not next to the seam. So I'm going to have to fudge this guy a little bit and do some stretching. He's too far this way, so I'm going to slide this whole piece over. Sorry, I have a pin in my mouth. And I'm going to go through that point again. Aha, look at that. It came out right on the seam. Can you see that? And then I have a little bit of excess. We'll just stretch it a snitch. Thank goodness we're working with fabric and not bricks, right? Let's see how it looks. Good, good, and good. So I have to tell you something funny. I talked to April again this morning, and you know how she likes to do really big things because she says she doesn't have the patience for smaller things. Well, on her quilt, she said, and she repeated this several times to me, there's 96 half square triangles. I just kept laughing. I thought that was so funny. I didn't count. I really didn't have any half square triangles, so I thought that was pretty funny. She couldn't get over the 96 half square triangles. I don't think she's done a quilt with that many in it ever. Then I said, whose idea was it to do star quilts? Stars come with points and half square triangles. So anyway, let's go put these on the design wall. And Brenda, yes, you need to name your machines. It's fun. And then to clarify for Jenny Harris and for all of you who've heard me mention, at one time I did have an online store, but no longer. Life got in the way and I couldn't handle it all. The only thing I have now is a long arm quilting business / studio and YouTube channel. So thanks for asking about that. What do you think? Isn't this the most adorable quilt pattern? You know what I'm going to do with it? It is a 3-yard quilt and I'm going to use it in my living room. I have a small living room and a small sofa. This is going to be perfect for these summer months. It is going to be festive and summery, 4th of July-y, if that's a word. Anyway, the blocks were just a snitch fussy. Thanks for sticking with me on that one. But it happens when you're working with stars, April story, you're going to run into situations like this if you want perfect points. And mine still aren't perfect, but they're close enough for government work. All I have to do is sew these bottom 3 blocks together and then sew them onto this, and then I can attach the borders. Give me a minute and I'll be right back. There's something I want to point out when you're putting these rows together, and that is, see these blue boxes? Look at that. That's four patches together. And you're going to want to make sure that contrasting box is matched really well. And you know what I do? I just flip it over, and if both of my seams are pressed the same way, and on this one they are, I flip one of them so they nest, okay? It's important to get those seams nested so they're nice and straight, because that is kind of a glaring mistake if you make it. There's some mistakes that you can go, whatever. But that one would glare at you because it's such a contrast between the dark blue and the white. So just pay attention to that. I want to point out one thing about 3-yard quilts. They use every bit of fabric. Like this is a 21-inch strip of 2.5-inch fabric, and you're going to have to use it on the border. For instance, there were 4 border strips that were the width of the fabric. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. However, do you see this? There's just not enough room to do the whole border. I'm going to have to cut a chunk of this to make it, and there'll probably be this much fabric left over. But it's kind of exciting to use up 3 yards of fabric on something so cute. Let me put the borders on now because this is all sewn together. Ta-da! And let me throw a few fireworks or whatever it is. Maybe a 21-gun salute. I love this pattern. Again, I've had my eye on it for quite some time, and I just knew it would look fantastic in red, white, and blue. I am going to go down tonight. I have to do a few more things. We've got to go see some people. You know, it is Memorial Day, and there's still some time on the clock. But I'm going to have this quilted by midnight tonight, and I'll post it on my community page tomorrow so you can see that I did it. But I'm going to quilt it with wool. This will be the backing, these old-fashioned swimming suits hanging on the line. They're part of the line by Sandy Gervais. Again, it's Red, White, and Bang is the name of the fabric line. Next time April comes up with a great idea like this, I may tell her to take a long walk on a short pier. I don't know, but it was kind of fun. I just saw a picture of April's finished quilt. It is adorable. I'm going to link her video in the top of my description, and she's going to link mine in her description. So thank you so much for tuning in. Here's the sister update. She just pooped on my arm. Sister, here. She doesn't like me holding her feet down, but I'm not gonna let her. There we go. Hey. Remember that cute little chick that I had a while back? Well, now she's just a big, fluffy, lovable girl. You wanna say hello in the camera? I don't think she's gonna say. A lot of you are thinking, what's with this crazy lady bringing a chicken in her quilting room? Well, let me tell you about the chicken, not the crazy lady. We already know about her. So this is my logo quilt, and I made this first of the year. And it's, of course, got a chick on it. I designed it that way 10 years ago, and it usually hangs on this wall back here. But I thought it would be cute at the first of the videos to have a cute little chick walking across my, chick quilt. And the thing is the cute little chick is growing up, and several people or several subscribers still like to have an update on the chick. So that's what I'm doing. So if you're new to the channel, I'm not crazy. Well, maybe a bit. Anyway, let's talk about the elephant in the room since we're talking about animals. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? This is my red, white, and blue table topper. And I'm going to make that today. I'm going to show you how to make it. It's on my design wall, just in pieces. So this is made out of Land of Liberty by my Mind's Eye, and I picked this up at my local quilt shop. It's a really fun and true red, white, and blue print that I'm kind of a traditionalist when it comes to colors. But what I'm going to be making, what this pattern is this is called the Moda Love pattern. And I've made a table topper out of it before that I really, really enjoy. It's such a classic, and it is so easy. This entire table topper is made with half square triangles and then just 4.5-inch squares. And the cool thing is the pattern is free. So you can go out to moda.com, and you know, I'm going to put the link for this pattern in the comments below, so you can just click on it and download this pattern if you'd like it. It's a really fun pattern. It comes in 3 different pieces or sizes. You can make it out of 2.5-inch mini charms, or this is made out of the 5-inch squares, or you can make it out of the 10-inch layer cakes and make a quilt. Isn't that cool? Also, you don't have to do a fat quarter bundle. You can just buy a charm pack. Okay, I'm at the machine. The pattern tells you you need, I think, 3/8 of a yard of background fabric. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but my background fabric has a white on white stars on it. And then this is from the charm pack or from my fat quarter bundle. So what you do is you place these 2 pieces right sides together, right on top of each other, and then you're going to draw a line. Now the pen that I'm drawing with is a heat dissolvable pen. So I'm going to make this line really dark so you can see it. So there's one. Let's sew up some of these. Now I have my machine set at a 1/4-inch stitch, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going to use my scissors as a pointer. The 1/4-inch stitch goes on the outside of the foot right here. And I like to sew a scant 1/4 inch, so I am sewing so the line goes right just inside the foot, okay? And what you do is you sew down, following the line, a 1/4 inch away from that line. And we're gonna do this on all 3 of these blocks, and we're gonna do it on both sides of the blocks. So I also like to chain stitch, so I'm going to add another one right to this one and sew down a 1/4 inch. Let me sew one more, keeping my hand out of the way so you can see it from the camera how I'm sewing. But there's one more, a 1/4 inch from that seam. And then I'm going to flip them over and sew on the other side. All right, here's the fun part. You get to cut. Let's make sure you can see where I'm cutting. And I'm going to lay my ruler right on that line that I drew and cut it. So I have 2 pieces. I'm going to cut all of these the same way. So my sister from another mister, Patricia, that you met in the video on the quilting retreat, always teases me, and she calls this a wallpaper roller. And I said, it's not a wallpaper roller, it's a quilting roller. So we have a discussion about this tool, but it's a really nice tool. I do a lot just sitting down, and then I get up and go to the iron all at once. Then when I've pressed these seams, and there you go, there's your half square triangle. You see the little dog ears on the end? Let's go ahead and trim those. I just cut them right off. Just snip them right off there. I'll give these a press, but now I've got some squares, some half square triangles that are ready to go into my Moda Love table topper. Isn't that easy? That's all the sewing you guys have to do. Well, I lied. It's all kind of the block construction you have to do. So when you get all of your half square triangles completed and your 4.5 inch blocks cut out, then you get to lay it out on your design wall like I have here. And you're ready to sew the rows. I'm going to fold that over like that. I'm going to fold this one over like that. I'm putting right sides to right side and lining them up in rows. And I'm going to fold this one over just like that, putting it right behind, and then this one like that. Now I have row 2 taken off my design wall, and I'm ready to sew these rows. I'm at my machine and ready to get these rows stitched together. Now I have them, if you take a look, when I pick up 2 blocks, there's pins that don't match, but I'm going to put these 2 together like this, and you want to match these seams. So see where the red part is on a red part? You want to make sure that those are laid on top of each other, and I'm going to hold them with my fingers so they stay in place, and then sew the seam down at 1/4 inch. And when I get close, I can't use my fingers, so I'm going to use my stiletto. I think it's my all-time favorite quilting tool. Normally I would chain all 8 rows together, but I'm going to go back and show you how I use the pins. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cut them. This is the second row. I'm going to lay that there, and this is the first row. So I'm got them cut apart. Watch what I do. I open the first block, and it has a purple pin, and this block next to it also has a purple pin right there. So I'm going to sew them, put them together right sides to right sides like that, and the pins will be facing the same direction as well. But we're gonna take those pins out so we can sew this together. And then taking a look at these squares, let's see what we have. I see a white and a blue, and this one has a blue. I have one last pin to match, and it's hard to see, but it's a white pin, and here's the other white pin. You want to put the heads in the same direction, so we're going to go right sides together, and I'm going to pull the heads out, and I'm going to spend a minute matching these half square triangles. My stiletto is going to take it right through the feed, the open toe foot. So this is kind of fun. Ta-da! Here is a completed row. And this is row number 2. I have the first 3 rows sewn and pressed. Isn't it cute? Back to the machine. It's finished. Don't you think it turned out cute? I love this project. It's going to be the most fun table topper. You know, I think I'm going to go run it on the long arm right now and see if I can't finish the entire thing up, quilting, binding, and all today. Holy crap! I've never done this before. I sewed a block wrong. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Can you see it? Crap, crap, crap. Oh! I want to do a patriotic quilt for the back of my couch, so I have been saving my red, white, and blue fabric. Some of it is from Patriotic collections, others is not, and I'm just going to mash it all together. I don't know if I'm going to use this blue or not. I could, but I also couldn't. I'm looking at pieces that are width of fabric. I want to cut 2.5-inch strips out, and I specifically want different red, white, and blue strips for this project. This is the order that I'm going to lay my block out in. It will be white, red, blue, blue, red, white, blue, red. Every block will be laid out the same. I'm just going to build some blocks now. Now that my blocks are laid out, I'm going to lower my table and sew. And I will stitch them together in this order. When I put them together, it doesn't matter if you do selvage edge or not at the top. I'm going to make sure that they're pretty much even at the top. I'm using the side of my presser foot for a guide, which is a scant 1/4 inch. And it doesn't matter if you sew with a 1/4 inch or a scant 1/4 inch, just as long as everything is the same throughout the quilt. So it's easiest for me to do the scant 1/4. The next one is a blue strip. Can you see that that's pretty uneven? And it doesn't matter because we just need enough to get our 8 sections out, and there is going to be plenty to do that. What's important is to have one edge that is pretty even at one side. If you do it that way, there'll be less fabric wasted. Now this is sewed in the order that I laid it out in, and I'm going to sew the other 3, and I'll have 3 blocks to take to the iron. The next step in this block construction is to press the seams flat. Now you could press them open if you wanted to, but it's extra work and you're going to be nesting them later on. Notice that I'm really not stretching them. I'm just gently laying them over, and I want them to stay even Steven. This is the bottom where they're all different lengths. Then I'm going to take it from the top As I'm doing this, I'm giving them a shot of steam. I now have 4 blocks with strip sets in the same order. So they all start in the same order and go through all the way. What I'm going to do is make a tube out of each of these strip sets. What you want to do is fold this raw edge to the other raw edge like so. And what you're looking for is the same amount of tension or direction on this bottom piece. For instance, you wouldn't want it to be, you know, like this, where it's pretty wide here and a little narrow here. You want this to be the same. So play with it, be gentle with it, don't pull or tug, flip it over and make sure you're getting what you want. Gently move it into place and take a look. I really think that this is the same all the way down. Well, now it is. This is pretty much the same. I'm going to sew it together. Now, one thing I want to point out, it doesn't matter if these ends aren't even, and you know this end is not going to be even, definitely, but we're going to trim it up to get it where we want it. So I'm going to run a scant 1/4 inch seam on this. And look at that. I have a sleeve or a tube. Now it's a sleeve. Now it's not a sleeve. Did you like that magic trick? I'm going to do that with each of these. So I have 4 of these tubes, and I'll do that until I take you to the next step. With this next step, you're going to see why we needed like almost 20 inches. The first thing you want to do is trim off this edge here where it's almost the same. And I'm going to do the best I can, lining it up on the line just to square up that edge, because you want a good edge that is squared up for the next step, or I should say for the next cut. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to flip it around, and I'm not going to use the lines on my cutting mat. I'm going to use the lines on my ruler. I want to cut 8 2.5 inch strips off of this strip set or this tube length. And when I do, I'm going to lay this 2.5 inch right on the edge, and I am going to line up one of the lines as best as I can on the seam line. So this line right here is lined up on the seam line, and then I'm going to give it a slice. And I'm going to continue doing that for 7 more times, or until I have 8 strips. This is such a fun, rewarding block to make. I really, really like it. While I'm cutting this, I'm going to remind everybody that's watching that I have a retreat coming up. If you'd like to join us, I still have some tickets left. It's the 3rd of September in Albion, Idaho. All the details are on my website. My website is sisterchicksquilting.com. Look under retreat. You can read about the retreat, see pictures of our last retreats, and then join us. I got asked the other day if we really have a camel at our retreat. Yes, there's a camel at the retreat. You know, there's just so many things that I have to arrange, and one of them is booking the camel each year. I'm kidding, there is a camel, but I don't book it. So this is that uneven edge, and I'm just going to throw those away, even though I'm a scrappy quilter. Move on to my next one until I have stacks of 8 like this out of each one of these tubes. Here I have 4 stacks of 8 strips each. I'm going to only work on one at a time, so I'll set those aside over there. And they're all facing the same way. For instance, do you remember what color the first strip on the left was? Well, it was white, and so I'm going to go to that white one. And by the way, all of these strips are in the same order with white, white, white. All right? So I'm going to take the first strip, and I'm going to unpick on the white some stitches, and it just pulls apart like that. I pull the loose threads, and then I'm going to lay this down right here like so. The next one that I pick, now a lot of people when they're doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to lay this one so the next one, the white's here, then it's here, then it's here, then it's here. And I have a really easy trick to figure out how to do that. And it took me a minute to remember it. But you want this white one to be right here. And you're going to move it just one space. So what you always want to do is look at the top of your strip right here. So this is red flowers and dark blue fireworks. So I'm going to turn this over and look for the spaces where the red flowers and the dark blue fireworks are. And I'm going to take 3. There we go. I'm just going to unpick some threads and I'm going to pull it between those two. And then I'm going to open it up. Look at that. And it worked. So on the next one, what do you think I'm going to look at again? I'm going to go back to the top. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to look for a blue firework and a white with a red star. And those two are together, the blue firework and the red star. I'm just going to go in and take out 3 pieces. Look at that, 3 pieces, and it just popped right out. So the unpicking that you have to do on this is not bad at all. And you're wanting to follow this piece up all the way to make sure it's right. Now, the next one is going to be a red and a white with a red star. So we'll go to that one. Oh, it's the wrong one. Look at, you know what, I did white with red stars twice on this strip. And here it is with 2 different ones, and I was a little nervous, but then I turned it back, and here is the white with the red star. So we're just going to go unpick 3 little stitches, and when we do, we'll turn this up. Look at that, will you? And we're going to continue that way all the way down. So the next one, of course, you tell me what I'm going to unpick. Is it going to be the red poppy and the blue star? No, you're right. It's going to be the light blue gingham and the solid red. So I go to where they are and do my 3 little stitches again. And there it goes. And we can't put that one there, so we turn it over and we put it at the bottom. Isn't this fun how you can just line these blocks up? There, now you can see an entire block. And the blue star and the gingham, 1, 2, 3. And we've got 8 blocks down and 8 blocks across, okay? And before you know it, we'll be sewing. But there's an important step to take before you sew one of these blocks together, which I'm going to show you. Look at that, one more, and we'll have a complete block. And it's going to be the red poppy and the red and white star. The next thing you want to do is this. Now remember, is sew them together. And you want to nest the seams. But do you remember when we pressed them all the same direction? Well, what I was doing before was taking one and finger pressing it as I go, and then making it work, finger pressing it, make it work, pin it. It was kind of a pain in the neck. Let me show you the slick trick that is going to make this go super fast, and you'll have a block done before you know it. Now, I have my block lined up on the table behind me in the same order, and I'm going to pull from the left to the right. So this is the first strip in the block, and I'm just going to leave it folded the way it is. Give it a press, making sure. I forgot to push the steam out of my iron. There we go. And I'm going to keep it turned over, because I want to see which way the seams go. So I know that this one goes like this, right? But these are all ironed down, so I'm going to flip it and press them the other way. There we go. I'll give it a quick press on the other side, and then I'm going to lay this down, and these seams will nest with those because the nesting is really key. And I'm going to do that for this whole block. Now this one, every other block, of course, is going to be in the right position, okay? And every other block, I will have to repress. So that goes like that, but I want it to go like this. Seal the deal by putting it on the top there. Look at that. Would you look at that? I'm lining up this entire block this way. I'm using my Laura Star steam iron. It sure helps to have the steam. I don't want to make you jealous or anything, but Laura Star steam does not shrink. This is the step that is going to make the construction of this block go super duper fast. You're going to really be glad you did this. Now, I have made so many Scrappy Trip Around the World blocks and quilts before, and never once have I done this. I have done them all by hand, like I showed you previously, as I was sewing them, and it took way too much time to sew them. But let's take these to the machine and I'll show you how I nest them and how fast it goes. Here they are all in order. They're upside down, so I'm going to turn them over because remember, in the bottom left was my white block. So I'm going to do that one first. I'm going to be sewing onto the right side of these blocks. Look at how nice that's going to nest, and I'm just going to flip it over. What I choose to do is just use like 3 pins. Like last night, I was whipping through these so fast with just 3 pins. I'm going every other one, making sure that I get that little nest in. You can fill it with your finger. Ready? Here I go. It's really important to make sure these seams are nested and the corners are going to be square. The reason it's important is because look at all these colors you have. So let's take a look at our joints or intersections where they come together. Truthfully, they all look pretty good. This one gave me a bit of a trouble, but it's close enough for government work. I'm going to continue sewing these on the left until I have a on the right, until I have a completed block. Oh, I have to show you the pin cushion I'm using. It's a little bee pin cushion. Isn't this cute with little felt wings? You can put the pins through the wings and if you want, but I just stick them in here. A sweet lady gave this to me at my retreat and I'm embarrassed. I can't tell you who she was. There were so many people. It was the first day, but look how darling this is. Bzzz, it's my little pin holder. I've never used a bee before, but I enjoy my bee. Thank you to the sweet lady that made that for me. I think it is darling, and I enjoy using it. seams first. Look at these seams, how nicely they're pressed in those directions that they go in, every other one. I'll blow the steam out of my iron. Look how easy this is, you guys. This is amazing because it was pressed already. A couple of them that you have to go back and get, but if you just take it right across the top, those are all pressed down, and then you can flip it over and give it a really good press. And that is a block. And this, I believe, is 16 inches. It is 16.5 inches. Wow, pretty exact. I'm loving it. I'm sure it's 16.5 inches. Yep, 16.5 by 16.5. Not bad. So this is going to be a finished 16-inch block. It's going to be gorgeous in the quilt. I'm going to hurry up and do those other 3 stacks of 8. I'm loving this look. It's looking good. Let's see. One last block, and there is my quilt so far. Holy crap! I've never done this before. I sewed a block wrong. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Shoot. Can you see it? Shoot. Crap, crap, crap. Oh, shoot. This is the offender. Here, I'm going to be like the opinionated quilter. She always has a pointer. Love you, Maureen. All right, it's supposed to go red, blue, blue, red, white, blue, red, white, and mine goes red, blue, white. Shoot. Okay, if I undo this, I'm going to have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then down here, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I always fix my mistakes, guys. This is a dilemma. Shoot. I'm gonna need to think about this for a bit because, yeah, I'm gonna need to think about it. Okay, I've been thinking about it. I want to get this video out. I'm kind of over this quilt. I'm going to do something I've never done before and not going to fix it. But I am going to hide that block down here at the corner. So let me tumble this block over. What I did was sew 2 of the rows together before I was done playing with blocks. Let that be a lesson learned. Make sure you like everything before you sew it together. However, I didn't see it until I'd sewn it together, and I don't want to unsew this row and this row. So I'm just going to eat it and figure no one is going to notice it. And that's my plan. This is the offensive block right here. And does it look that bad? Maybe that's not the offensive block. Oh, this is the offensive side right here. So it lines up here, but not here. This little thing should be red, and these 2 should be blue. So I'm going to put that down in the very corner. and build around. Oh, that doesn't fit though, does it? I just realized this white has to line up with the white. Oh, so we're putting a fensive block right on top. Are people really going to notice this? I mean, they want a white, 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 and the white lines up. It's the red and the blue next to the white. I think I'm just gonna have to eat it, you guys, which kind of kills me. Oh my gosh. What a block, right? Let's stand back and look at it now. I like it and I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to sew it together like this. Except there's something, it's square. Now, I don't have enough fabric to make another 4 blocks on the bottom to make this a rectangle quilt. And I do have a thing about rectangle and square quilts. I have an idea. We'll see how it looks. I did run it by the girls in the pool. And you know the girls in the pool, because they're all pro quilters. Jokingly, only one is. But they appreciate quilts and they have good eyes and they know what works. So I ran the picture by the girls in the pool of what I was going to do, and they really, really liked it, and they chose this overwhelmingly. Let's stick with me. I'll sew this together, and then we'll do the pool and the girls. Oh, the girl in the pool suggestion to make it rectangle. All right, hang tight. I think that this should be a partial ta-da. So, ta! I know, I'm corny. I like it. I really like it. Can you see the error? You might be able to see it because you know where I put it. This is what I'm going to do to make the quilt oblong. I'm going to put a border on the top and a border on the bottom. And I call that Tracy-izing it, because she's the first one that taught me that you can do borders that aren't the same on all 4 sides, but on the top of the bottom or on the sides, depending on the look that you want. So let me show you a couple of options. This was the option I thought I was going to go with. This is essentially a cheater piece that Came with some of the fabric I bought. It was called Patriotic Garden. There's a panel with all the blocks in it and this stripe. And I thought that would be cute. That would be very scrappy. Now this is in the quilt and this is in the quilt. And then separately, this and this panel, or this stripe and this stripe are in the quilt. And I thought that would look really cute and scrappy. All the girls in the pool said, no, no, no it wouldn't. It might look scrappy, but we don't like it. We're going to do this dark blue strip that is 3 inches. The blue, by the way, is going to go next to the quilt with the white, which is 2 inches, with, are you ready for this? I love it. The red star, which is 6 inches. This one is more the look I was going for. And the girls in the pool think the same thing. I think this will be awesome on the top and the bottom of the quilt. And it's going to add about 9.5 to 10 inches length on the top and length on the bottom. So let's take this away. And the next thing I need to do is measure the width of the top of the quilt and the width of the bottom of the quilt. Cut strips in that length. These are just great big long strips, but I'll sew them together. I'll sew these 3 together, then I'll put them on the quilt and I'll be done and ready for quilting. Oh, I haven't even thought about a back. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm going to do for a back. I'll have to figure something out. Dang it. Shoot, dang it. Oh well, I'll figure it out. I'm sewing the border pieces together now. I'm going to stitch the white pieces onto the blue, and then when I'm finished with that, I will stitch the red stars on to the white. Now, it is time to press my strip. I want the blue next to the quilt and the red on the outside. And so I've marked this one with those pins. That's going to be my bottom border. And the other one without pins will be my top border. I want to find the center of this border and mark it. And I think they were right in the middle. If you noticed a couple of segments ago when I was piecing these together, the strips, my mouth was moving. And I'm going to hear comments in the video. I'm going to hear comments on the video that say, I missed what you were saying. There wasn't any sound. There was just music. Well, I had a customer call about her quilts that she had just sent, and that was Miss Paula Brill. But anyway, we were talking about her quilt order. Then we got talking about the Yellowstone quilt, because the quilt that she sent me to long arm for her is the Yellowstone quilt. And I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together. And then I remembered a post where in that Yellowstone television show that everybody was so excited about, there was a scene where there was a woman wrapped in a quilt. They're calling that the Yellowstone quilt. Well, Paula made her version of it, and that's what I'm going to be quilting for her. Kind of excited to do it, and that's what we were talking about. So, no, you didn't miss any video. I'm going to find the center, just like this. Folding it in half, and gently, not tugging or stretching this puppy, but it's right on this seam. This is the top. Oh, this is getting fun. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, then I'll go over to the sides and pin the sides in. So you can take this small section and lay it out on your table, and it should just fit. And it does. Quite nicely, I might add. So I will pop a few pins in to hold it in place and pin the other side, and so I'm just telling you, I'm super duper. And last pin. Are you ready, Freddy? Oh, this is why you need a table to hold all of this bulk when you're sewing on borders or binding. And also, I'm going to be back stitching just bar tacking it down, not bar tacking it, stitching it down real quick. I've got to see this. Oh my goodness. Can you say patriotic? I love it. I really love it. Let's get that second border on now. I'm going to press this real quick and meet you at the design wall. You guys, this is it. But do you see that I'm not alone in my room anymore? This is my friend Bev. She comes to my retreat. She lives right here in Emmett with me. She's a lot of fun, and she's brought a payment buy for her retreat. So she's fun to learn from at the retreat. She's really, really good. But I said, Bev, would you like to see what I'm doing right now? And of course you said,
oh gosh, yes.
Oh gosh, yes. But the best part is, we both love red, white, and blue. Bev, give them.
I'm in red, white, and blue.
And look, this was not planned. She's in red, white, and blue. Bev, I can't figure out what to put on the back side. I'm looking at two different pieces. Would you help me choose?
I would be happy to help you choose.
Okay, this is kind of fun because normally, because I've decided that I am going to go down and quilt it today and put this video out on Saturday instead of Friday. I don't know, maybe we'll see, maybe it'll be Friday. So I have this red and I have this blue. Now, I don't know if you have to think about them. Let's hold them up to the camera and show everybody what's on the blue. Can you see the little bulldogs, the little Frenchies with crossed pins? I think they're adorable.
They were butterflies.
Oh, they're little Frenchies. And then there's this piece that's a little modern looking, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yeah, a little modern looking.
Yes.
So now remember, this is going to be the back. Okay, whatever Bev says is what's going on the back.
You know what? I love, love, love red. And so if I have a choice between red or blue, I'm always going to choose red.
Okay.
Always, always.
The Frenchies are going to have to wait for another quilt. I thought for sure this was going to be the quilt they were going on.
I love the red.
But this red is going on the quilt.
And look how beautiful it looks with the front.
Well, let's unroll it a little bit. It's a little bit, you know what? Someone else is coming upstairs. What in the world? We're having a party. We're in the sewing room, blue block.
I think the red is just perfect.
So I wondered who the dog grandma was.
You're kidding. Okay, be careful. Come around and come on the camera with us.
I brought you a prize.
You did? Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I really like it.
you like it?
It's
I
beautiful,
do.
isn't it?
Okay, come and stand in front of it. You got to be on camera. Guys, this is blue block. So two of my goody girls, my sewing girls, and Bev just picked out this backing for
Oh,
it.
that's beautiful.
Isn't that pretty?
That is beautiful. Yes.
I offered, this was my first choice, the Frenchies. She says, oh, go with the red.
Yeah, go with the red.
See? Anyway,
We love red.
we're having a party, a quilting party.
Can't
Anyway.
wait for the retreat.
Oh, the retreat's going to be fun. Patricia will be at the retreat. Bev will be at the
Working.
retreat. Well, we might set up a machine for you to sew.
Oh, no.
She loves to.
I like helping
Just-
Michelle in the kitchen. It's
Just
fun.
wanting to.
So, hey, Blue Block, why don't you tell them what kind of ice cream Michelle's going to be making for the retreat? And I'll catch Bev in case she falls over with the light.
We got first tries.
Mm-hmm.
It is coconut, the best coconut I've ever had. It is so rich, with little streams of lime curd running through it. And I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Since coconut is
Yum.
like my favorite ice cream, and then lime. Oh my goodness.
So at our retreat, we're having homemade coconut lime swirl ice cream. And I think we're going to do a little butter cookie with them.
Oh, that sounds
for dessert.
wonderful.
Doesn't that sound good?
It sounds wonderful.
So Bev just brought her payment by for the retreat, and Patricia just came by, and you know what? This has just been too much fun. I can't wait to make this video. And hey, slide over. Let's
Bye.
bye, everybody.
Everyone.
This isn't off a dead cat or dog or fox. It's my keys. Please, I don't want to hear from PETA. Please. Okay.
I had
Bye.
one and I lost it. Oh, thanks for coming by, you guys.
Loved it. Thank you.
Holy cow, I hope I had this turned on.
That was fun.
I've got the quilt on with that red backing that Beverly chose. I just need to finish basting it down and then set the design on it. Action! And I am done quilting it. Ta-da! And happy 4th of July to you. Do you want to see the texture of the quilting? Let me get it up here close, move it around in the light. I used neon red thread, and the pattern I put on it was one of my Star Spangled patterns. So I hope you can see the pattern. There's a lot of swirls, there's flags waving, and then there's stars. So it's really a fun pattern. I love the texture. I used Hobbs wool batting because I wanted a lightweight quilt with a little bit of poof, and that's what I got. But I can't wait to get this on my couch and have it for several weeks. However, did you notice that it's not bound? There's no binding on it. That is because I don't have any fabric to bind it. I tried a lot of fabrics and nothing was happening, you guys. The only blue that was perfect is this one. I've had it on my shelf for quite a while. It's called Summertime, and it's fireworks and stars. It's out of print, so my only hope was to do an internet search for it, and guess what? I found it, and I want to give a shout out to this shop. It's called Polar Fabrics, like P-O-H-L-A-R Fabrics, in Liberty, Indiana. That's about, I think, an hour east of Indianapolis. So if you're ever in the area, go support Polar Fabrics, one of the local quilt shops there, and it will be here probably in a week. But as soon as it comes, you bet I am going to cut it out and bind this quilt and wrap up and snuggle in it. This is how it looks on the other side. Whoops, that's my design wall. It's very red. There you go. I say Bev picked a good backing for it. I one of these days I'll find something to put my Frenchie bulldogs on, but I thought this was it, but nope, it wasn't. I can't wait to take it to the pool in the morning and show the girls, because they are the ones that told me to use this border. And I want to thank Bev and Patricia Blue Block for being good sports. As I promised, I am bringing a special guest on my video today, but first let me tell you about what I'm making. I found a quilt called the Pineapple Blossom quilt, and it's by Bonnie K. Hunter. Oh my gosh, it's from 2005. It's way back there, but it is a gorgeous quilt, and I'm going to make that quilt today. I'm going to put the link to it in my description below, so you can go to her blog, print out her pattern, and make this gorgeous quilt too. The fabric I'm using to make this adorable quilt is called Sweet Tea, and it's by Sweetwater from Moda. I got it at a garage sale, so I got a layer cake and most of a fat quarter bundle for 10 bucks. Score! Anyway, it's just adorable fabric, and it's red, white, and blue, but there's a little light blue and a little taupe in it, but it looks gorgeous. So it's appropriate for the 1st of July. And the special guest I promised for my video is someone you may know, but it's April from April's Craft Room. Welcome, April.
And my special guest is Di. She is from Sister Chick's Quilting channel. And guess what, Di? I'm gonna make the Pineapple Blossom block too.
No, I'm making the Pineapple Blossom quilt, and I said it first.
But I want to make the Pineapple Blossom block.
Will you two knock it off and work this out?
Well, okay. I guess we can both make the Pineapple Blossom quilt.
That is an excellent idea. So can you share with us how you make the Pineapple Blossom block?
I can. You cut a whole bunch of 2.5-inch strips. Maybe, I don't know, 500, and then you cut them into 3.5, 6.5, and 9.5-inch strips. And then you cut well over 200 3.5-inch strips. And
let me stop you right there. I think I am going to have to supersize this block and have an 8.5-inch block, and then an 8.5 by 4.5-inch strip, and a 4.5-inch by 16.5-inch strip, and a 24.5 by 4.5-inch strip. So that means I need 26 8.5-inch blocks.
what? You're going to what? Supersize? You don't want to make it the way the pattern's written?
No, I really don't. That brings back bad memories of having to make 90 blocks at a time. Ooh. So that's why I'm going to take that teeny weeny, itsy bitsy tiny block that you're talking about and make it bigger. So my quilt will come along faster and I won't have to do as much cutting.
That's a great idea, April. You make the quilt top supersized, and I'll make it the way the pattern's written, the right way.
Hey, I have an idea. Let's put our blocks together, and then when we're done, we can meet back here, and you can show off your quilt, and I can show off my quilt.
Awesome. Let's get started.
So when we supersize our Pineapple Blossom blocks, and the link to the pattern will be in the description below, we come up with a 24.5-inch block. So I believe my quilt will consist of 6 of these.
So, I know you can see what's behind me. What do you think? But first, I wanted to show you, this is the block. It's a lot smaller than April's block because these are 2-inch strips right here, and the whole block measures 9.5 inches square. And I'm going to teach you how to put this block together. And again, I'm going to link the directions or the blog post in the description below. I put the block together on one of my design boards, and it's kind of an exploded version. And when you make this block, you start at the center with the center white square. Sew these two pieces on first. So I'm going to put this together right before your eyes like I'm some kind of crazy magician. And as you can see, I am using my Singer featherweight. That's because my machine didn't get taken to the shop when it was supposed to. So I'm going to have Irene here for a few more days. And I really don't mind sewing on her. But I do have to say, I'm used to the speedy version. Okay, so I'm going to just finger press these seams open like so. And put them on like this. Then I'm going to sew this one here and this one here. And can you see that I was running out of fabric and I pieced some of my fabric? Have you ever done that? I think if you can get away with it, go for it. You just want to be able to match everything. And this piece on here, and as you can probably see, I'm using the Seam So Easy by Lori Holt. I tape it on my featherweight for a guide, but these squares were too big to be able to use this Seam So Easy on this piece because it went off the edge and I wanted to follow it. So I marked the corners of all of my squares. So finger press that down real good. And then I'm going to put this square, white square, onto the corner. And here's a little tip. A couple of these corner pieces came through on, well, they didn't show a perfect corner. So what I do is I go to this corner where the thread is crossed and I push right on the corner, push a pin through, and when it comes up, look at that, it's right on the seam line. So I may want to sew just on the outside of the seam line because I want a nice point there. And then I'll put this one on the opposite corner. Now, because this white fabric that I'm using in it is a white on white, and I don't know if you can see it or not, I like the fact that I've already marked them. And guess when I marked all of these squares? I found out the perfect time to mark them because my other machine had a great light that I always used. And this one, it's a Singer featherweight. It doesn't have a great light. So I use my light a lot. But what I did was I marked him in the morning sun. Oh my gosh. The sun was coming up. My sewing window room faces to the east. And boy, it was so clear and obvious as to which was the right side and the wrong side. So just a little hint, if you don't have a good light, use the sun. Then you have it like this, and you want to cut these corners off, just like so. Now, in the pattern, she tells you that you can sew another seam and save this and have a little triangle. So there is the first part of the square. I'm going to press it when I'm this far, and then I'll finish with the rest of the square. All right, let's get this going. Because I am a spaz, after I sewed the block this far, I realized when I sewed these two strips on the outside and then squared it up, I had the camera turned off. So I did again. I made another block to show you the work that I did so you could see how it was done. I did it again. I totally spazzed out and had the camera turned off. So now I have an extra block, but that's okay. So I'm sorry about this. You don't get to see me sew these seams here, but they're the same as the inside seams. I'm going to talk about putting the block together in a quilt. This is how it goes together in a quilt. Here's 2 blocks together. I think it's a very good looking quilt, and you can kind of see the star starting to take effect right here. You can put them together that way, or you can add sashing in the middle. And you know what the sashing is? It's simply another 2-inch strip. So let's lay this out. What do you think of that? I really like the sashing. Now there will be a strip of sashing here and a strip of stashing here. Sashing, not stashing. And there will be a white 2-inch square here. And I think it makes a great design on the quilt. In fact, let me show you the whole quilt. So this is the quilt. I'm doing 6 blocks across and 6 blocks down. It will be square for me. You can make this quilt any size you want. I quilted one for a customer, and I will show you hers in the video. It's incredible. Hers is freaking huge. Okay, she makes king size quilts for all of her grandchildren. How lucky to be one of her grandchildren. But I've got the sashing sewn. Can you see the sashing in the cornerstones? Sashing, sashing, and this little cornerstone. And it's kind of cool. It makes this little, like a little, I don't know, pinwheel or whatever. But when you step back, you see that design from the white, and I absolutely love, 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 love this quilt. And I've got 2 blocks to choose for the bottom of the quilt, because there they are. And all I have to do is sew it together block by block and row by row. So on the bottom row, I've got some sashing attached, as you can see. And I'm just going to select one of these blocks, and I am going to stitch this quilt together.
Di, do I still hear your sewing machine humming along? I've got to tell you, I do love that featherweight. Are you still sewing those itsy bitsy teeny weeny tiny rectangles and strips?
I'm almost done. Just give me a few more minutes.
While you're finishing up, I am going to show you all my quilt. And it's 4 blocks instead of the 6 that I was going to make it. But I think I'm going to put a border around it. But here it is. And you can see the star in the center. So I kind of like it just with the 4 blocks.
Wow, that's incredible. 6 blocks. I have 36 blocks in my quilt.
My snowballs were giving me a hard time on those last 2 blocks. So I decided with that pattern, with the diamond in the middle and the arrows going out, I really just wanted to keep it like that. And I think what I'm going to do is take this star border and put it all the way around. And I think this is going to be a bench quilt.
I don't think it was hours later, but finally I am done. Ta-da! I love how this pattern turned out. I love that you can see the stars when you stand back. Just so much fun to make. Isn't it amazing how we used the same pattern, 2 different methods, and we came up with these 2 great quilts? April, this was a lot of fun. And I want you to know the link to April's video is right below. It's right at the top of my description, so you can easily find it.
It is amazing how the same block, but used in different sizes and 2 different quilts with different fabric, it can make 2 totally different quilts. I love that about quilting. And you can find the link to Di's video and to Sister Chicks Quilting at the very top of the description in my video.
It really was a lot of fun, April, and I've been wanting to say this forever. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, my preference is Dove promises, and have a great day. I screwed it up, didn't I? It's be kind to everyone. Wasn't that fun? I hope you had as much fun watching it as I had making it. I just think April is a hoot. And if you like my channel and like what you're seeing, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I really thank everybody for watching my channel and sharing and liking because it helps my channel to grow. Thanks for watching me this week. I really had a great time. Let's kick off summer with a bang, guys. And I'll see you next week. And if you like what you see, subscribe. Keep the comments coming. I love them. Bye, you guys. Thanks. I've got a great video planned for you next week. Until then, bye. Have a great week. Happy Memorial Day, everybody, and have a great rest of the week. Bye. Thanks for watching, and have a great 4th of July, celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country. Bye.